I needed to say this. Um, I'm 56, 57-ish kind of years old now. And uh, I was born to parents that were deeply invested into the civil rights movement and quite a few other things. And here I am sitting here watching the current events from COVID to um, Black Lives Matter um, to these protests to um, this economic shutdown of sorts, uh, quarantined and whatnot. But what really stands out the most right now in our suffering, our discomfort as Americans, is this race thing. And I really just want to put this out for everyone on either side of the slash that you want to be, from Confederate to liberal to whatever. If you call yourself an American, just work with me and follow me on this. We go from Black Lives Matter to All Lives Matter to Make America Great Again. And to be honest, any American who believes that they are proud to be an American has the technology to pull off this little theory I'm putting out here. You know, this country is suffering from a whole lot of neglect and abuse and discomfort and whatnot, and it's primarily due to this racism kind of issue. That's the one thing that's caused more conflict between races, just for the mere fact of the inability of some to be able to utilize that same race card for what they would feel to be their own benefit. Some people of color tend to overlook the possibility that there are white folks who don't, have a silver spoon and aren't quite genetically of a oppressing character or lineage or something, no more than everyone else, and yet there are many of them who rightfully have a discomfort or a disgust or distaste over the mere fact that it seems as if certain ethnic groups can play this race card, and it seems like they're making out okay. They get this and they get that, and two-thirds of our problem as Americans is that we've all been grossly miseducated to a certain degree, where in regional settings and whatnot, what you've been told to believe exists is, as solid as your Bible. And yet, here we are today, and we're watching a new breed, a new generation of people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of dealing with this same kind of issue that it seems like we've been dealing with since the birth of this nation. Funny we should go down that way. So white folks who really want to believe that they want to be a part of the solution are willing to run out and protest, but it's not that we need people to speak up for us. We need people to stand and live with us. I don't expect for white folks understand how black folks are, or black folks understand how they are, or Asians able to understand how either of those are, and blah 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 blah. But we're Americans, and we done run out of room. We're running around trying to stay away from each other. There ain't no segregation left on our real estate, and yet we still possess by far the most brilliant, talented, gifted genetic species of humans on this earth, whom in most cases are more suffering from a certain mental discomfort in the belief and the realization of being shut out, being unsupported, being public enemy, and we all have our own feeling and our own story, and a lot of this tension between races is just due to the mere fact that everybody wants to express their discomfort louder than someone else, as if there's not enough reparations for everyone who exists here on this dirt, respectfully. And with that being said, we've driven ourselves to believe in these race cards and whatnot to such a degree that we've created these folklores and stereotypes and whatnot that draw us into a certain rage of bigotry. It's not racism that's the problem. It's bigotry, because bigotry is simple and easy to claim without having to be blamed for being a bigot. Everyone has bigoted mentalities, but when some see it as race, others see it as, the food chain, the dumping line. Everybody, pisses downhill, and the farther downhill you are, the more piss you get from other folk, and people are tired of people pissing on their boots and telling them don't worry about it when they ain't got none. We're actually more haves than have-nots, but we don't play well with others. We don't share. We don't believe in mixing of the races and the cultures and this, that, and the other, and we have to look out for each other. And that's what's been strangling the whole American dynamic in itself, because we can't do nothing without all of what we got, and we can't keep piping in people from everywhere else to take care of the menial shit that too many of us refuse to do, just for the mere fact of the wages and the conditions into which the labor exists in. Nobody wants to go pick the food at the farms, but everybody wants to bitch and moan about how we're farming out more of our needs and whatnot, and then we've got this undocumented this, that, and the other, and that whole situation is mostly due to the mere fact that whoever you think you are that has come to this country to believe that you are privileged, in most cases, all got the big head and forgot how costly freedom is. Freedom ain't free. How are we going to eat? Gotta grow your own food. You mean you gotta get your hands dirty? We got people that are tired of being slaves, but none of them wants to be better slave masters, kinder and gentler, like with union wages. We are anti-union, and yet we, the people, in order to form a more perfect union, seem to be more hypocritical in the understanding that it's not about, the big union, this, that, and the other. It's about you and your crew and how you do. And until we look at that as Americans and understand that we ain't got to look alike or like each other, but as Americans, we can't do shit without each other. And this is about that time that a lot of people who feel that their God-given right is to allow them to have less stress about being blamed for this neglect of, a certain portion of the genetic population of this country that's contributed more than their fair share, and due to Reconstruction got kind of screwed out of all of that, and we got no more chickens to roost now. Our kids need us to get up off of our preconceived idiocies and assist them in learning how to be more of the melting pot of the most talented craftsmen and artists and beings on this planet, enough for us to be as great as we claim we all want to brag about as Americans. You're never going to be able to do so until you can get over the realization that if you weren't trying too much to try to get over on everyone else in America, we all could probably get over on the rest of the world quite nicely together. You can't do it without us. How do you tell the difference between a redneck and a hillbilly, a blue blood? How do you tell the difference between an African and an Afro-American, Italian and a Latin, and a Jew or a Baptist, a Republican or a Democrat, a Negro or a homeboy or a nigger or wake up, people. Check yourself, and then check everyone around you. See something? Don't just say something. Do something. Not with force, but with reason. Because you're not going to be able to do nothing without everybody you got around you. This is it. It's rather you're an American in America doing American things, or you're not. The rest of the world is hoping that we can pull this off because they want to be us. Get your shit together, America. Black Lives Matter.